Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Life with Libby Joy. My name is Libby Joy, and I've come to you to talk about the journey that is life. Let's do this journey together. This podcast is here to inspire and to inform women about our journeys and let our journeys be with joy. Yeah, having a journey with joy. Before we talk about the issues of women, our struggles and our successes, how we overcome our issues, how we have challenges and burdens. We'll talk about all of those things, about our single life or our motherhood, or how we deal with things like, yeah, it's the M word, menopause. So all of these things are going to be a part of this journey. Each week we'll do a different episode talking about a specific topic. At points, I'll have women who are going to come on to share about their journeys, and we'll have dialogue about what gives them joy in their journey and what has caused them to be able to do the things they do. We'll talk to entrepreneurs. We'll talk to women who are on great careers as doctors or lawyers. We're going to talk to all different kind of women to see how they handle their ups and their downs and their excitements with this journey called life. So before I began going into our topic today, which is joy, I want to introduce myself. I am Libby Joy, and my first name is Libby. And so people usually ask, is it Elizabeth or Olivia? Nope, it's just Libby. Libby is a very short name, and I got that name from my aunt. Her name was Libby, and my mother, as a 36-year-old woman, found out she was having a child after having 3 children at teenage years. I was what she calls the caboose, or surprise, you're going to have a baby. That could be a whole episode of he's having a child. That could be another episode for another time. But my mom named me Libby after my aunt. And so for them to be able to distinguish between the two, they would call her Aunt Libby and they would call me Libby Joy. Joy is my middle name, and actually Joy Patrice is my middle name. My sisters were allowed to name me. One named me Joy, one named me Patrice. Don't know who did which one, but that name Joy has been really great for my life because it reminds me that my life is supposed to be filled with just that, joy. And so I'm here to bring joy to your life. So please stay with me as I go through Life with Libby Joy. Just to give you a few more thoughts about myself, I am a mother of 2 grownish children. Again, another episode. We can talk about having grown children and how do you parent a grown child. That's I think we could do a mini series on that topic. I have a wonderful husband. I've been married 25, almost 26 years, and actually he's my cameraman and my whole crew. So if you see me up here behind the scenes, my husband is here. You can just say hi.
What's up, y'all?
And that's my husband. And then I also have a little dog. I have a wonderful family that I was born into. And so you'll learn more about me. I am an educator. I really feel a very strong passion for women who have been a part of a domestic violence situation. I was a counselor for domestic violence survivors. I've also done some other work with women. So I have a passion and a heart and a love for women, and I desire that we live our lives with joy. And so let's just talk a little bit about the first thing today, and I'll get back to talking with you. I wanted to let you know that I do believe in joy. You will see in a few minutes, I am not a la person that, oh, everything is peaches and roses and always rainbows and there's no clouds. I consider myself a realist optimist or optimistic realist. That's probably a better way to say it. An optimistic realist. And we'll talk a little bit about that later. But my first thing in my episodes, I usually will start off with a hot topic. So today's hot topic is this. Whose opinions do you allow to influence you? Whose opinions do you allow to influence you? And this question came up after I spoke with my friend, and she was just telling me about some of the information and emails she receives about some of the things that she does on the web or in on Facebook or wherever she does things, that she gets feedback from it. And I was appalled, really, that people say the things that they say to other people. And so I began to talk to another friend actually at work, and I was just letting her know, that that bothers me, that people can say what they say to you about your life, and they can think and talk about you and think you need to know what they feel about your life, what you're wearing, or how much makeup you have on or don't have on, or where you're going. And they have so many opinions. And then she came and said, yeah, she was agreeing with me. And then she asked me this question: who do you give permission to influence your life? Or who do you give permission, or who do you allow to give that opinion of you, and you accept that opinion? And so all these conversations made me have some wow and some oh my moments. And I say wow and oh my moments because I was told that the other moment I used to say actually has a trademark on it. So I won't use that oh my goodness thought that I usually say. But what or who did you give permission to give an opinion about your life? And so people can say all kind of stuff about you, to you. And my question to myself was, who have I given permission to say those things about me that I actually listen to and take like notes about? And so I thought about who has my permission or who had my permission. And my parents was what I came up with. My parents had the permission to say where I went and how I dressed, what I looked like. My parents had that permission while I was younger. And as an adult, my husband, I've given him or allowed him to have permission to say things about what I wear or what I do. But my husband will be the first to tell you. He'll tell me all the time, you're a grown woman. You can do what you want to do. You can wear what you want to wear. You can say what you want to say because you're a grown woman. And so even my husband's like, that's not even his place. And so then I thought, wow, so the people that I don't give permission to don't have permission to say something about my life. That's a freeing moment for me. And I hope that's a freeing moment for you. If you didn't give people permission to say the things that they're saying about your life, if you didn't give them permission to tell you what to look like or what to wear or how to do your job, if you didn't give them permission, and yes, I know your boss has permission to tell you about your job, but otherwise, you haven't given people permission, they don't have a right to say it or to do it. So, knowing that this frees me up, just going to let you know this: you are allowed to be you. I wear makeup a little. Sometimes I have more on, sometimes I have less, sometimes I have none. It's okay. I like to wear shirts with names on them. So usually you'll see a shirt. This is one of mine that actually I created. Prioritize your spiritual health. I will have other shirts on with different names on it because I like it. And if I like it, I can wear it. You may dress up. Wonderful. I don't wear heels. I actually love heels, but I don't wear heels because my body doesn't like them at this stage of my life. So I've chosen my body over my beautiful shoes. It hurts, it's sad, but it's true. And guess what? It's okay because I'm going to be me. Part of the reason why I named this podcast Life with Libby Joy was because I was taking back the ownership of being just me, being myself. My backdrop says enjoy your life and be yourself. I wanted you to know it's okay to be completely who you are. In other words, be yourself. And if everybody was like me, the world would be boring. If everybody was like you, the world would be boring. And that's why we were created, God created us to be different, unique people. I believe it. I agree with it. Just in case you didn't hear, I am a minister. So, yes, I do believe God created you. And I believe you were created well. I believe that you were created in good fashion and that you are you and you're uniquely who you were created to be. So, Nope, you don't need my permission. You already have the permission to be yourself. So I'm going to be myself. I'm freed. Well, thank you. So maybe next time. No, I'm not going to dress up next time. I'm going to have a t-shirt on because that is me, and I'm okay with being comfortable with myself. So that was the first one I had. That was just the question of the day or the hot topic of the day. But the main thing today I want to talk about for the next few minutes is the concept of joy. And I started at the beginning of this podcast saying that I am a realist optimist or optimistic realist. And so the brand that I have, Life with Libby Joy, is because I think that our journey of life needs to be infused with joy. I think we get so lost in the struggles of life, or we get lost in the busyness of life, or the ups and the downs, that we forget that we only get one life on earth and we should live it with joy. There should be days, not just months or a year that you had a good year, but each of your days should have joy in it. And so usually when people say they're optimists, they do this half empty or half full cup thing. Well, today, if you are not watching me on video, you don't see it, but I'm holding a clear cup in my hand. Well, this clear cup is empty. So if I fill it, and I have a water bottle, if I fill it with water, I'm filling it with water. Now my cup is half full. That's not optimistic. That's just a realistic concept because my cup was empty before, but now it's half full. If my cup is full and then I pour back, I'm not going to do that for interest of time, but if my cup was full and I poured half of it out, then my cup actually would be half empty. But because I'm a realist, I know it's half empty, but because I'm an optimist, I'm glad that at least I still have a half glass of water because I am finding joy in the fact that I still have a half glass of water. That's the realist optimist of me. I'm not a la la, like I said, rainbows only and no clouds. There have to be clouds so there can be rainbows. And yes, there are times of sadness that we go through in life. I mark anniversaries of loved ones that are lost. I spoke about, I'm about to speak actually about my father, and who was passed away almost 5 years ago now. And so there are sadnesses that happen in our lives. I struggle with an illness. I will probably tell you at some point. I understand there's pain. I understand there's hardship. I understand financially there's struggles. I've lost jobs. I've had issues even with my children. So we understand that life is not always perfect. That's not what I'm saying in this podcast. I want us to find joy in the journey that we are given, the journey that we are going through. So this was the question that I have, and I'll ask it of you. My dad, like I mentioned before, was a pastor actually for 46 years. He was a missionary. He pastored 3 churches. And in his later years of life, he decided that he wanted to take a sabbatical. If you're not familiar with that concept, a sabbatical is supposed to be every 7 years in pastoral concepts. But even and they do that also in teaching and educators. Well, not let me stop. Not teachers, college professors, because teachers, I don't think we ever get a sabbatical. But anyway, I digress. So he took a sabbatical, or at least he wanted to. And in order to take a sabbatical, you have to have money to be able to replace your services with, and then also to give you money to go on the trip. So he took a sabbatical, or at least he desired to take one. And before he took it, they asked him this question for him to be able to get this grant. It says, "What makes your heart sing?" So he had to answer that question before he could go on his sabbatical. Let me just say he did go on his sabbatical. He had a great time. He toured lots of countries because he realized what made his heart sing. And so that's been a question ever since I heard that question I've had with myself. What makes my heart sing? And so we're talking about joy today. That's the question I'm asking you. What makes your heart sing? What makes you have joy? What makes you smile and laugh and shout and dance? What brings you joy? And every day we need to look and ask ourselves that question in the mirror. Years ago, maybe about 2 years ago, I heard someone mention that we often say we had a bad day because we have a bad moment in our day. And instead of us saying, I had a bad moment, either this morning I was late because traffic, or I had a bad moment because I lost something I needed, or I had a bad moment because, again, I'm not talking about tragedies. I'm talking about just our normal everyday bad moments. And instead of saying I had a bad day, the person encouraged us to say I had a bad moment in my day, because your whole day is not lost with those bad moments. And I thought about that and I said, that is completely true. And I also added to that. So if I had a bad moment, instead of saying I had a bad moment in a day, I can do the opposite. I can say I had great joy moments today. And so I'm going to encourage that every day of my life, I don't know how long, none of us do, but every day I live, I find joy in that day. And so I'm going to start calling them my joy moments or my joy drops. I need a drop of joy each day to make my day a joyful day. And so these kind of things sit with you. So my joyful moments and my joyful days I just spoke about. Let me just clarify this a little bit. You want to have joy in your day. So, what do you do to make your day joyful? This is my practical side. I say, oh, I want to have a joyful day. Great. That's a good start. So, how do you make your day or a moment of your day joyful? You need to find something joyful you can plug in each of your days. I'm going to ask you to start small. Find 5 things you enjoy, write them down. Start small, things that you can incorporate in each of your days. So let me just say what probably you shouldn't do. Here's one of the things that would bring me joy. I hope you're hearing me, everyone out there, and my husband sitting here. It would bring me joy to go to Europe and travel. Bring me great joy. That's probably not going to happen tomorrow. I can probably guarantee that because tomorrow is a work day. So I'm probably going to be at work with some really cute little kids and teaching them what I do, which is science. So, no, I'm not talking about big things, but little things. Just write 5 little things down. Let me give you some examples. Again, the teacher in me wants to give you an example. Let you have some 5 different things. Here's some of mine that I wrote down. Not necessarily my joy, but I wrote it down because it could be yours. Um, Exercise, listening to music, dancing, watching a television show, reading a book, or listening to a podcast. Oh, wait a minute. You're doing that right now. A joy drop, drop of joy. Yes, that was, yeah, I know. A drop of joy. And so your drop of joy will go a long way. It can make an ordinary day feel good. It can. And when you have a bad moment in a day, moving it to a good moment in a day will help your day feel balanced, and you'll feel like you've accomplished something on that day. And so that was just my little thought for today. It's not a long thought. Each of these sessions will probably be about 30 to 45 minutes. If I'm talking to somebody, maybe about a 45-minute time. But I just want to share some things that bring joy into life. We'll talk about some subjects that are really meaningful and impactful, some information you may or may not know about the journey that you're on in womanhood. And we're going to just share little ways to keep those joy drops or drops of joy. I think I'm going to start calling it drops of joy in your life to make your life great. I don't just want you to trudge through life and then say, okay, now my life is almost over. I'm at the end. I really want you to embrace your life, to enjoy the journey that you've been given, and to enjoy each day. I do want to put a disclaimer in on here. If you are having prolonged sadness, if you feel some kind of stress that is overwhelming, If you're having some emotional struggles or problems, please go seek a mental health professional. It's not a bad thing to go ask for some help. You can't just happy your way through life sometimes. You got to talk to somebody as you happy your way through life. It's okay to do both. Matter of fact, I suggest both a therapist and some joy drops in your day. All of those things are helpful. We want to make sure you are in your own health, your spiritual health, your mental health, your emotional health, and your physical health. And so, please, if you need some help, reach out, go to Google. You can Google therapists near me. They have all kind of people. I know there's Better Health. I know there's a lot of other places that give you um, Psychology Today. Thank you. My husband is a therapist. He is telling me Psychology Today is a good one as well. And then you can also go to your healthcare provider. They also usually give suggestions on ones that actually are covered by your insurance. Good way. I'm going to give you my email address also. It's life with Libby Joy at gmail.com. Again, that's life with Libby Joy at gmail.com. You can ask me any question. If you need me to just send you to those things I just mentioned, you forgot them. You can go to Life with Libby Joy and I'll send those to you. If you have any hot topics that you want to give me for the next episodes that I'm doing, please feel free to send it to Life with Libby Joy. I thank you so much for being here for my first episode. Thank you for tuning in. You're either listening to me or you're watching me on YouTube or my other channels. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. Our next episode, we will be discussing the stages of your joy journey in life. That is very interesting. What stage are you on, and what do we do with that? We're going to talk more about that. And tune in next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember um, um, this takeaway: make every day a day with a drop of joy. It just takes one drop to make an ordinary day enjoyable. Find your drop of joy. That's your takeaway from this one. Again, my name is Libby Joy. Turn in next Tuesday at 8 p.m. And remember to enjoy the journey of life.